A new day, a new journey, a new opportunity. Today Rich from Scratch will introduce to you 33 intellectual thoughts of the Emperor. Hopefully, you will know how to take advantage of them to change your life. In the vast sea of people, each of us is a small boat in it. When sailing in the sea, you cannot know which horizon you will encounter big waves and strong winds, whether they will shatter you to pieces. Yet, the sea of life is even harder to grasp and understand than the natural sea. If you want your boat to sail smoothly in this vast ocean, you need to become an excellent rower to steer the boat of your life. You must learn how to overcome waves, adjust the boat's direction in time, and find the right position for yourself in an ocean where thousands of other boats are competing. You cannot let others surpass you or even swallow you up. To become a sober helmsman, first, you need to know how to assess the situation, judge where dangers are lurking, and take advantage of all the conditions and circumstances around you. The storms on the big sea often come suddenly, sometimes at places you never thought of. There are reefs quietly waiting for you. Therefore, everyone must have enough understanding to observe potential dangers on the journey of life. At the same time, you need to accumulate relatively abundant life experiences and wisdom, skillfully utilizing everything you can to help your boat sail faster and safer. So why hesitate? Understand that, like other knowledge, life wisdom and experience can come not only from personal experiences but also from learning from others' experiences and knowledge. In reality, we cannot experience everything ourselves. You should not wait until you actually go through something to accumulate more understanding. Experiencing something to gain more understanding is actually a last resort. The smartest way is to learn from others' successful experiences, draw lessons from their failures, and then apply these experiences and lessons to your own life and the navigation of your life's boat. Only then can you pay the lowest price to achieve the greatest success. Confucius said, "3 people walking together will surely have one who can be my teacher." In fact, it doesn't necessarily have to be 3 people for there to be one capable of being a teacher. Nor does it have to be while walking to find a teacher. Everyone around you can be a teacher. The events in history, the figures who appeared in history can also be our teachers. We can empathize with their smiles after success and their sadness after failure without necessarily experiencing them ourselves. Therefore, let's pause amidst the hustle and bustle, calm down to see how others have done. It's a way to rest, and also a different way to learn. It's a win-win situation, so why not do it? In this video, we will introduce you to the life wisdom principles of Balthasar Gracian. Gracian was a Spanish Jesuit priest living in the 17th century. He was a man of profound knowledge, rich life wisdom, and experience. As a believer and messenger of God, he was extremely outraged by the crimes against humanity. However, Gracian was also a person with an extremely strong sense of practicality, not just a rigid priestly figure. He did not have empty doctrines about benevolence and morality. Here, he not only tells you about lofty things but also about very practical rules of conduct, helping you understand the clever methods needed to protect, expand, and realize your value in this harsh real life. It can be said that the wisdom principles he proposed have profound practical significance, necessary reliability, and great applicability. Many outstanding figures in history admired Gracian's wisdom principles. The German philosopher Schopenhauer translated Gracian's The Art of Wisdom into German. Schopenhauer's disciple, the outstanding philosopher Nietzsche, also praised that Gracian's life wisdom and experience are still wonderful to this day and incomparable. We have compiled this special video with the hope that readers can share Gracian's wisdom with us. This is a place where Gracian's intellectual essence is concentrated, where we see the advice of a wise man. At the same time, to help readers more easily understand the secrets and essence contained therein, we also specially selected examples from ancient to modern times to clarify Gracian's intellectual spirit. It can be said that proverbs and examples will illuminate each other, helping you understand more precisely and clearly the principles hidden within. Contributing to guiding your life, helping you steer your life's boat to the shore of success in the vast ocean. We believe that as long as you calm down, take a little time to remember and learn the advice, you will surely achieve unprecedented results. You are listening to 33 Imperial Thoughts on the Rich from Scratch channel. Note down what impresses you. Part 1: How successful people treat themselves. This way of thinking is somewhat different from yours. The best companion in life is none other than yourself. Recognizing your own strengths and weaknesses will make you and me become the most special star in the vast sea of people. It is to have the character of both a viper and a white dove. You need to have both these characters. Half viper, half white dove. Two kind people will always be deceived, and those who never lie are always fooled by lies. I am always haunted by this saying because it is too true to reality. Saying so does not mean you are labeled as easily deceived. Sometimes, being deceived by others is a good thing. But don't be too kind-hearted to the point of giving bad people the opportunity to carry out their evil intentions. That is the basic principle: half viper, half white dove. You are not a devil but a genius. The history of the United States has the famous Monroe Doctrine. The one who actually created it was not only President Monroe but also another less-known figure, then Secretary of State John Quincy Adams. If you delve deeper, you can see that this has influenced American policy throughout history under previous presidents, leading to the development of the entire American national character. This character can be described and summarized with the phrase, half viper, half white dove, to describe America after breaking free from British rule. They immediately began to expand their territory and power. The leaders of America from the beginning were full of ambition. They understood that to make America a powerful nation, they first needed enough strength. Therefore, shortly after its founding, America transformed from a former colony into a beast, always striving to compare strengths with other countries with the immediate goal of striving to become the hegemon of the Americas. On one hand, the American government immediately set up supports to become the savior of America. They voiced that powerful countries like Spain, France, and Britain should not interfere in America's and the Americas' affairs. At the same time, they wielded a big stick against small neighboring countries like Mexico to intimidate them, forcing them under their protection. This is the carrot and stick policy inherited by President Roosevelt later, and also the half viper, half white dove that Grant talked about. At that time, major powers like England and Spain were in decline. But this didn't mean they accepted losing their interests. The British government resorted to tricks, sending delegates to request a US-British alliance to deal with Spain. Before making a decision, President Monroe consulted with the third-term President Jefferson and the fourth-term President Madison. They all agreed with the idea of an alliance with Britain. However, Secretary of State Adams disagreed. He believed that America couldn't completely reject cooperation with Britain, as losing the support of a major country like Britain would be a significant loss. Moreover, even if deceived by Britain, in the long run, it shouldn't matter. Maintaining good relations with Britain was fundamentally important for America. But at the same time, Adams strongly opposed the alliance. He argued that if America allied with Britain, it would give Britain an excuse and opportunity to interfere in American and continental affairs. Therefore, he proposed that America should declare to Britain the mutual goal of protecting the peace of the continent. Domestically, America should bring the entire continent within its sphere of influence. Combining these two principles would form a clear policy and slogan: American affairs to be resolved by Americans. This principle was inviolable. The document drafted by Adams was presented by President Monroe to the U.S. Congress on December 2, 1823. The principles contained in it are called the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine brought direct benefits to America. Theoretically, American countries could free themselves from colonial status and have the right to independence. From this perspective, America had a positive influence on other countries in the continent. From here, they could confidently, like America, declare themselves independent nations, not subject to control by countries like England or Spain. America effectively opposed British policy without completely offending Britain. Additionally, it was revered by the entire continent, becoming the image of the white dove of America. Of course, America was not just a gentle white dove. It was also a venomous snake. To expand its territory and influence in the centuries following its founding, America never stopped controlling other American countries, even threatening them militarily. In 1821, after Mexico officially became an independent nation, Texas originally belonged to Mexico. But Americans drove out the Mexican army, declaring the establishment of the independent Republic of Texas. However, this was just an excuse because immediately afterward, Americans proposed the annexation of Texas. By 1847, using the pretext of a border dispute, America directly sent troops to forcibly occupy part of Mexico's territory, forcing Mexico to sign a treaty formally agreeing to cede Texas to America. From then on, the territory America swallowed included California, Nevada, and Utah. The total area of these states was larger than the combined territories of France and Germany, increasing America's territory by over 920,000 square miles. If you interpret the term venomous snake literally, you might misunderstand. In my view, always keep part of the white dove, the rest as a mighty lion, full of strength to protect itself, its belongings, and to obtain what it desires. You are listening to 33 Emperor-level thoughts on the Rich from Scratch channel. Take notes of what resonates with you. Second, fate will reward those who patiently wait many times over. Those who understand waiting will always be patient and have a generous heart. Don't work too hastily. Before reaching the goal, take a leisurely stroll on the grass. Waiting and resting wisely will make success more solid, making the victory flower more radiant. Time's hand is stronger than Hercules' iron club. The proverb is very true, persistent grinding turns iron into needles. Fate will reward those who patiently wait many times over. In today's busy society, very few people advise us to take a leisurely stroll on the grass before starting work. Doesn't everyone often say that time is money? So, is Gratian joking, or is his advice outdated? If not, it means we are too ignorant to understand the wise man's intention. Actually, the principle is very simple. Everything needs to be thoroughly considered and the most appropriate timing chosen. China has an ancient proverb similar to this principle: in the forest, don't worry about not having firewood. Indeed, we need to prepare all necessary elements and choose suitable partners. In ancient times, sages and wise men experienced things themselves to set an example for us. Jiang Ziya is a mythical figure very familiar to the Chinese. Legend has it that he saw the world in chaos and wanted to change it, so he sought out immortal teachings. Many people studied with him, but only Jiang Ziya learned the most. Why? Because others were impatient, quickly leaving the mountain after learning a few techniques. They thought they should quickly apply what they had just learned. But Jiang Ziya was extremely patient, diligently studying with his master. He went up the mountain as a young man, and when he returned, he was an old man with white hair. His master was very pleased, teaching him many things others didn't learn. Jiang Ziya used patience and waiting to achieve what others couldn't. This is the difference between patient and impatient people. Their results will naturally differ. Jiang Ziya's patience far surpassed ordinary people. After descending the mountain, he didn't rush but traveled widely, observing that the world was still in chaos. He was determined to choose a worthy ruler to serve. He thought a wise and virtuous king needed patience and extraordinary vision. And the king of Zhou, a vassal state of the Shang dynasty at that time, was such a person. However, Jiang Ziya didn't rush to meet the king of Zhou directly but went to the Wei River, not far from Zhou, fishing every day. The peculiar thing was that Jiang Ziya used a straight hook instead of a curved one, and of course, he didn't use bait. In the eyes of ordinary people, Jiang Ziya was truly an eccentric old man. But he had his own purpose that no one knew. He was patiently waiting for an opportunity. Jiang Zia knew the king of Zhou was seeking talented people and sincerely wanted to help, but he had to use his patience to test the king's extraordinary vision. This seemingly mad behavior had a special intention. This is also the difference between a sage and an ordinary person. People kept spreading Jiang Zia's strange behavior. Eventually, it caught the attention of the king of Zhou. The king thought Jiang Zia must be an extraordinary person and immediately went to the Wei River to find the old man fishing with a straight hook. The saying people often quote, Jiang Taigong fishes, those who are willing to bite the hook, refers to this story. Indeed, Jiang Zia used his patience to get the king of Zhou's attention. Because the king of the Zhou dynasty understood this patience, he was able to obtain an outstanding vice minister. Relying on this, he finally defeated the Shang dynasty. You are listening to 33 Imperial Thoughts on the channel 2 Dui Lam Jiao. Take notes on what you find insightful. Another example is Zhuge Liang. At that time, he saw the chaos in the world and hid back in his hometown. However, this reclusion was not idleness but preparation for waiting. Zhuge Liang, though living in a thatched cottage, always had his own perspective on the current political and social situation and had unique insights on how to govern the world. Therefore, people of the time called him the sleeping dragon. Liu Bei, at that time, had no military power or operating base and very much wanted to find a capable assistant. He heard that Zhuge Liang was a talented and resourceful person, so he immediately went to invite him to help. But Zhuge Liang felt that he did not yet fully understand Liu Bei. Therefore, when he knew Liu Bei was coming, he found an excuse to leave beforehand. However, Liu Bei was also a person with patience. The first visit did not result in a meeting, but he was undeterred and visited a second and third time. And this time, when Zhuge Liang was sleeping, Liu Bei waited respectfully outside for several hours. Zhuge Liang was finally moved by Liu Bei's sincerity and patience, agreed to help, analyze the current state of the world for Liu Bei, and laid out a basic strategy. With Zhuge Liang's assistance, Liu Bei ultimately became the ruler of 1/3 of the world. Zhuge Liang's patience left a brilliant mark in history. Jiang Zia, Zhuge Liang, and Liu Bei all achieved victory through patience. They deeply understood that waiting and resting intelligently would make success more solid, and the flower of victory even more brilliant. Third, give feedback and criticism correctly and at the right time. Based on the object, situation, and purpose, give appropriate criticism. If criticism is not helpful, find another way to criticize. The key is to achieve the goal. If a person always thinks they are smart, just a little bit superior, and criticizes others, thinking they are very clever and have the right to humiliate others, they will eventually bring disaster upon themselves. A knowledgeable person will avoid causing trouble for others and avoid others causing trouble for themselves. Initially, they might want to make things difficult for someone, but knowing how to control themselves, they do not let it happen easily in public. People are always free emotionally and cannot and should not endure any infringement. The core meaning of Gratian's proverb actually expresses the idea that everyone has freedom and equality. Therefore, we must respect and understand each other, rather than arbitrarily criticizing and blaming others. When you criticize or blame someone, you are also hurting their feelings and self-esteem. Although they might indeed have faults, we should choose an appropriate time, place, and delicate way to give feedback. However, not everyone is aware of this. For example, comparing Chinese and Americans, we will see a significant difference between the two nations. Americans tend to praise, while Chinese seem more accustomed to criticizing and blaming others. Of course, this absolutely does not mean we are belittling the Chinese. The formation of national character always has intrinsic reasons stemming from its long development process. We also believe that when Chinese people criticize others, they do not all have malicious intent. Often, when they criticize someone, it is also showing that they care about that person. Indeed, it seems that Chinese people like to use criticism to express their feelings towards others. This is very evident in the way Chinese parents educate their children. We often see Chinese parents scolding their children strictly, even when others praise their child. They often do not comfortably express gratitude but humbly deny it. In reality, they feel very happy when their child is praised, and as parents, they also feel a bit proud. But they are always bound by traditional thinking, believing that they must show humility, not be arrogant, and not let their children have a sense of pride because it will not benefit their development. You are listening to 33 Imperial Thoughts on the channel Rich from Scratch. Take notes on what you find insightful. In fact, modern psychological research has proven that what children need is praise and encouragement, not criticism. Frequent criticism will create heavy psychological pressure on the child. Adults understand that they should be humble, but children do not know that. Perhaps, when adults show humility, children really think they are inferior. Over time, this will erode their confidence and interest, eventually seeing everything as ordinary. Isn't this the negative impact of criticism? Unfortunately, parents often do not realize this. They do not understand that children also need to be respected. They have their own feelings, freedom, and self-esteem. Incorrect expression of love from parents will make love turn into bitter fruit. They do not understand that they should base their decisions on each specific case, situation, and the unique psychological endurance of each child to decide whether to criticize or praise. On the contrary, why are American children very lively, individualistic, and creative? The important reason is that when American children receive education, they always get a lot of praise, not criticism. There is a young American couple living downstairs from us. Their child, Jamie, just turned 3. The young couple bought Jamie many books and crayons to practice drawing at home. One day, Jamie's parents went out, leaving only a Chinese nanny to take care of the house. When the nanny finished her work and went into Jamie's room, she was stunned. Little Jamie had scribbled all over the walls with all sorts of colors. A clean white wall was now completely unacceptable. The nanny was very angry. She could not accept that a child would have such undisciplined actions. Just as she was about to scold Jamie, his mother returned. Seeing everything, the mother picked Jamie up emotionally and said, "My dear, you are so great. You have made the white sky bloom with brilliant flowers." We can completely imagine that if Jamie often had to endure the nanny's criticism instead of his mother's praise, how would his personality develop in the future? Parents truly need to remember Gracian's saying, "People are always free emotionally and cannot and should not endure any infringement, even if it is your own child." Personally, I find this case incorrect. Criticism or blame is necessary at this time, even harshly. No rule is fixed, so make decisions based on the actual situation. Right or wrong is up to you to decide. Above is part 1. Follow the Rich from Scratch channel to watch many more interesting videos.